Greetings, enchanted fireflies, and welcome to Les Patouilles de Lucie, which would translate in English as Lucie's messy creative mischief. So this video is a collaboration with the wonderful witch Emmy at Magical Crafting. Hi Emmy! We came up with a super fun, crafty, and truly magical project using an altered Beltane themed board book. That's a mouthful. So you can find these children's board books at a thrift store near you, and they come in very interesting shapes, and because the pages are so thick and sturdy, they're great to work with mixed media, and they can take a lot of texture, glue, Mod Podge, paint, so there's a lot of room for pleasure and lots of fun. The first thing you want to do is to sand the pages. Most of the times, these books are very glossy and plasticky, and if you apply Mod Podge or gesso or any other plastic-based medium, these might peel off. So sand your pages first, and then apply some gesso. And now the book is ready to be transformed. As usual, I didn't know what this book wanted to become when I first started working in it. What I did know is that I needed a tarot card holder for my altar, and I also wanted a Beltane altar. And finally, I also wanted a book that I could use on a regular basis throughout the month of May. So with that in mind, I simply started applying some acrylic paint with the colors associated with Beltane, so yellow and red for fire, some pink for feminine energies, and green for growth and the colors of nature, of course. Then I experimented on the pages, put on some marks with any medium I had on hand, like alcohol inks, making splatters, stamping, anything. And as I played in the book, it became clear to me that this book would become a fairy Beltane altar, and that each spread will include a tiny ritual to perform every day during a week. So I have 5 spreads for 5 weeks. So I'm building up the background, applying some silver paint to mute those bright colors a bit, and I wanted a shiny effect to create a yummy texture. And if you're here for the first time, I think it's worth mentioning here that I'm heavily inspired by an art witch called Molly Roberts. And she created an abundance journal. And she says she wanted this journal to feel like a birthday party. And that's the feeling I wanted to create for this book as well. Only I wanted mine to feel like a birthday cake. Because I realized while making this project that I was always hungry and I needed something to feed my eyes and my soul. So that's what I'm trying to make with those textures. So now let's make the candies for this book cake. And the prompt for this video was not only to alter a board book, but also to make it junk journal style. So for that, I created some ephemera, some decorations, cut paper shapes, secret pockets, flip ups and flip outs. And some of those will function as the tarot card holder that I mentioned earlier in the video. Now I'm simply decorating those pieces with scraps of papers, tiny shapes I had made earlier using hole punches and stencils. And I have stars, magic wands, clovers, flowers, leaves, many details that my eyes can eat and feast on. And making a giant mess is, of course, part of the spell. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take you through each one of the spreads and give you a detailed tour with a flip through. So the cover is made of acrylic paint. I had to use at least 3 coats of paint to get this really opaque texture, and so that it covered the images, the original images. And I added some foliage from leftover papers that I had left from, all the scraps I had left, and some Irish shamrock on glitter paper for good luck with that I made with this paper punch that was a gift from my mum. And then I simply added the title of the book, which is Beltane, with an illuminated letter and then a stamped the word, and it was on such a thin and old paper that when I added some glue and glued it down onto the cover, it was still a bit wet. The ink kind of bleeded, but I don't mind. I kind of like the effect. Then there's a bit of glitter and some mark making and stenciling with gold paint that's very faint, and I like the effect. So that's the cover. And then we open it up, and here's the first spread with the first ritual. We have a flip up that could stand up like this if you want to. And this will be actually my tarot card holder. Like if you have a one draw or a single card draw, well, you could put your card here. And I have a card here on which I have written my first ritual, and this ritual is just to cleanse the house. So for a week, every morning, I intend to just open the door for like half an hour to bring in some fresh air and to burn some incense and sweep while chanting, actually while singing a beautiful song that's called the Beltane song. And it's a song by Patouilles. I already made a video, I think a couple of years ago, so if you want to check that out, even if it's in French, but I explained how I cleanse my home while sweeping and chanting this song, and I found it to be really helpful and useful, so I'll give it a go again this year. And I also have a pocket here, a sacred pocket with a tiny little ticket that was sent to me by a snail-made friend. And we'll still have these leaves and the fairies, as well as the shamrock and some details, some sigils that I made with a white gel pen, and also a drawing of a church window. I had made this drawing earlier, and I thought it would stand nicely on the pages with the shapes of these pages, and yeah, I think it's a nice addition to this page. So that's the first spread. Now moving on to the second spread. So we still have our fairy with some little details, some stars, the shamrocks, a magic wand, my butterfly. I have a candle, kind of a candle holder, or I just thought it would be a nice place to put a candle right here. So I just wrote burn a candle here, a white candle, and this is my second ritual. So this is a flower that actually opens up, and I have written the second ritual, which is cleansing my body, and for that I intend to take a week off. So the second week of May, I will take my week off and have kind of a retreat. So no classes, no choir direction, no performances. I'm a musician, so nothing of all that, and I will be at home taking care of myself and try to maybe do some intermittent fasting, get rid of a bad habit that I still have, drink a lot of water, things like that. And we still have some glitter all around the borders, a butterfly, and some white gel pens details. Now, the third spread was actually the spread I liked the least, and I didn't know what to do with that spread. It was actually the first spread I started really working on and really building up the background of, and it didn't it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to be. So what's wonderful with that kind of board book is that you can add as many layers and as many textures as you want until you're happy with that, and it won't, I mean, the page can take it, so it's really easy. So I kept adding and adding and adding, and I finally simply added a tablecloth with some glitter and a tissue paper here. And this does the trick. I mean, you can still see the layers underneath, but it kind of mutes all those layers and those colors I was not that too fond of. So yeah, I think I'm really happy with this one actually. And I still have these drawings from church windows, and always the same little details that make the whole thing kind of cohesive. And here I have a coin envelope in which I have written I have my third ritual, and this third ritual would be to give my home a Beltane makeover. So I will cut paper flowers and make some new sun catchers. I don't know, but I want to make my home feel like it's really springtime and the very beginning of summer. Next, our fourth spread is kind of a spread that I wanted to be more feminine, with more pinks and purples. So we have little flip outs here, still a window pocket here, my fairies. I have a prayer all around the borders that I had written a couple of years ago, and it's a prayer to really enhance my creativity. And for this fourth spread, the ritual would be simply to write down wishes and intentions. Like every day I would sit, and for maybe 5 or 10 minutes I would write down my wishes for maybe the year to come, for us, you know, creativity wise, things like that. And finally, last but not least, we have a final spread with another tarot card holder that flips up, and that reveals the Empress. I still need to add some details, but this is the kind of project that you could keep on adding details and it's an ongoing project, a never-ending project. So if I wanted to release that video, I had to stop at some point, but I will go back to those pages and keep on working and playing on this little board book to add my details. So I have this flip up, my fairies, another prayer for sacred fire and sacred energy, and I have a 5-card tarot draw. And this was very small. I think we both struggled, Emmy, with the size of our books to really incorporate a tarot spread. And this is a spread I actually did in one of my very first grimoires. So this is the very first grimoires. It's heavy and huge, and that's why I kind of stopped working in it, because it was just unmanageable. But I had a Beltane spread right here with my 5-card tarot spread, and it's a draw that's called the Beltane Paul Tarot spread. So the first card is what symbolizes the fire and my creativity. So the second card is fertility, what's abundant in my life. The third card, that's the one on the very left, is the goddess. Who am I inside? The fourth card, that's on the very right, is the god. What I manifest. And finally, the final card is the union, and how the goddess and the god help me find balance. So that's that. I think we've made it to the end, and that's the back cover. And actually this book would lay nicely, you know, open and flat, and that's how I'm going to use it. But it would also be very fun to have it standing up and with all the pages spread like that. And I think that's a lot of fun. It's more of an object, a decorative object, than a book maybe now. And I had so much fun making this project, and thank you again, Amy, for this collab. It was so much fun, and I was so honored collaborating with you. So I really hope that you enjoyed, and thank you so much for stopping by. And until next time, take care and stay magical. Bye!